I'm Dr. Anthony Harper here, blessed to be at the International Religious Freedom Conference with David Curry of Open Doors USA.
Nice to meet you.
Yes, and it's great to have you join me today. And this is such an important issue about religious persecution, especially of Christians, and I know that's what Open Doors USA has been involved with throughout the world, is speaking to that issue of Christian persecution. So how long have you been with Open Doors USA, and what are you going to be speaking on at the conference?
You bet. Open Doors began 70 years ago, over 70 years ago, with a man smuggling Bibles into the Soviet Union when that political system decided that it wanted to wipe out discussion about God, talking about God, church. And we began smuggling Bibles. Now today we're in all of the many countries where there's significant persecution of Christians, but we also speak out on other issues revolving around religious liberty because it's the fundamental right. What I like to say is it's really about people having the right to read Scripture if they want and to decide what they think about it from a Christian perspective. And that's pretty fundamental, to be able to control what you think, to have your own ideas. It seems pretty obvious to you and I, but to dictators around the world, political systems, religious extremists of various kinds who want to force people into their system, where you're born into a particular faith, you can't leave, it doesn't matter what you think about it. Right. These kinds of power struggles are going on around the world, and Christians right now are the largest minority population that's being attacked around the world.
It's very, very disturbing. And I'm wondering what you might know about the Nigerian Christian persecution, because I've talked with a pastor from Nigeria about this. He's really concerned. It's really upsetting about what's going on there. Well,
Nigeria is the most violent area that we can count anyway. There may be more violent deaths in North Korea that we're not able to document. But Nigeria just has a lot of violence against Christians, particularly in the north. You have two different really scenarios here. You have a Islamic tribal group, Fulani, that are using land and land grabs as a cover for attacking Christian villages, burning them down, hurting people. That's been happening. The government seems to sort of look the other way or say, well, these are ancient land rights. But they have an agenda. They tell you what their agenda is. It is very similar to the second group, which is a little bit better known, which is the Boko Haram, very similar in ideology to ISIS and others like it. And it wants to bring Islam back to a medieval understanding of what it means to be in Islam, which means no education of women, which means that all Christians are apostates and they should be killed, and you're justified to kill it. It means forced marriages of young Christian girls. Just last week we had more attacking of schools, kidnapping Christian children from their school. It's just a very dangerous issue. Now, one of the things we need to do in this conference, talking about this issue, is raise it as a religious issue. It is a cultural religious issue. It's not just about oil. When you talk to folks within the government of various kinds, you'll hear, well, it's about oil, it's about land, no, these religious actors, they have an extremist ideology, and they're working on their plan, and they're targeting Christian minorities in northern Nigeria.
Yes, very upsetting. It's very troublesome about this worldwide. Christians and Jews usually get most of the persecution, I've noticed. But this is it's very upsetting. Hopefully, that you'll be able to reach a lot of people on this message. Open Doors USA has a website.
Yes, opendoorsusa.org is our website. There's stories there. You can get to know some of the people affected by it. And of course there's statistics, which are terribly important. Now they're baseline statistics because we're only documenting those things that we can kind of prove. So certainly there's going to be more violence out there in northern Nigeria or against other areas than we can document. But it's trustworthy data. The State Department and others trust it as well.
Well, I also see a new development with Christian persecution in the United States. And how do you see things going as they are right now that could lead to major persecution?
Well, I have, been a little critical of the American church over the last 8 years that I've been leading Open Doors, because I think we've been asleep on the issue of persecution. You mentioned anti-Semitism on that issue, and against Christians as well, because I think there's some bad theology. They see a scripture that says, well, you will be persecuted, which is certainly true, and then they just kind of drop it. But we're also told to stand with our brothers and sisters for Christ. I think this, what I would call the shadows of persecution, perhaps to come. It's not the same as what's going on in Nigeria. It's not the same as what's going on around the world. But I think it's hopefully beginning to help people see that your freedoms can be lost pretty easily. And it is not enough to say that, well, maybe we can fight this in court for 10 years, because sometimes the game plan of discrimination is to use the court system, the legal system, to bleed you of all your money and your resources, and by the end, there's nothing left for you to celebrate. So I think churches need to stand up on these issues, the freedom of gathering and freedom to worship together. Of course, being thoughtful about all of the sorts of common health things you would do, but I don't think that should limit churches in any way from gathering and expressing their religious freedom. So I think these are major issues yet to be decided.
It's very upsetting. We continue and ask for people to be in prayer as never before about that. And I do pray that, the King of Peace will be here. Thinking of, then again, about the religious freedom in America that's under assault, and that will lead to great persecution. If we lose those religious freedoms,
Yes.
America falls. And that's what's really made
That's
America so great.
Yeah, it absolutely is.
So once again, for your website for
OpenDoorsUSA.org, and you can get the stories and the data behind persecution around the world.
That's great. Thank you for joining me.
Thank you.